Thank you everyone for joining. So today we will go through the Canto 3, Chapter 16 overview. So we are currently in the section of pastimes of Lord Varahadev. So we have seen how the demigods experienced a lot of disturbances and they have approached Brahmaji. So from the beginning, we have seen many times. So I'm not going through an overall recap. So in the chapter 13, we saw how the demigods approached Brahmaji, and then Brahmaji is explaining to them that what is the reason for the disturbances that they are seeing. That's due to the two demoniac sons who are currently in the womb of Diti, and how she and what is the reason. And that's what we're seeing in these chapters 14, 15. So how this particular chapters we exactly saw the description of the spiritual kingdom, and also how Jaya and Vijaya got cursed by four Kumaras. So currently we are going through that past time. And last week we saw how Jaya and Vijaya are cursed by four Kumaras, and the Supreme Lord Narayan, he is out on the to the gates of Vaikunta, and he has come out to deal with the whole situation. And we saw how four Kumaras were transformed just by the darshan and taking in the fragrance of the tulsi from the lotus feet of Narayan. And now we are going to continue that what Brahmaji is going to continue to describe the discussion that happened between the Lord and the four Kumaras and the Lord and Jaya and Vijaya in the Vaikuntha to the demigods. So the discussion between Brahmaji and demigods is being discussed by Maitreya and Vidura. So here there are three set of things going on. Vidura and Maitreya are discussing what Brahmaji told demigods about the discussion that happened between Lord and the four Kumaras. So it's a loop inside a loop. And this Vidura and Maitreya discussion is being spoken to us by Suta Goswami to the Shaunakadi Rishis. Actually, it is being spoken by Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, and that is being spoken by Suta Goswami to Shaunakadi Rishi. So it is like a 5 level of discussion going on here. So the chapter 16 is entitled Jaya and Vijaya Cursed, and there are total 37 verses. So the important sections are the Lord offering apology to the four Kumaras, and then their reaction to Lord's words, and their reply to Lord Narayan's questions, and also how Lord reconciles all the parties. And the narration is being concluded by Lord Brahma. So we will take section by section. Before that, if anybody had any questions from the previous session, we can take at this point of time. Otherwise, I can go ahead. Okay. So here in the first 12 verses, the Lord is offering apology to the four Kumaras for what happened in when they arrived. Okay, that's weird. So the Lord spoke to pacify the Kumaras. How did he pacify the Kumaras? Basically, he was, say, for example, if there is a guest at your place, and if your son or your daughter or someone from your family did something wrong, and if you're the head of the family, sometimes you may defend your family member, but it's also an etiquette if something wrong has happened from your side. Even if something, it was not wrong on the part of your relative, still as an etiquette, you may actually comfort the guest. You may say, oh, sorry, maybe some mistakes happen from his side, please forgive him. And you may make the guest comfortable. The same thing here. Lord Narayan's guest are the four Kumaras, and the two doorkeepers, Jaya and Vijaya, are his own people. So from that perspective, Vishnu Chakra Thakur presents this whole thing also. So how the Lord, considering the four Kumaras as the guest, as someone who's different from is not very closely related. They are guests, so he's being very formal with them, but he considers Jay and Vijay his own people because they are his dearmost servants. So in that attitude, he's going to speak here, and he actually says these descendants of mine, ignoring me, have offended you. So I approve the punishment given by you. So first of all, he says, okay, because they might be in a panic. So he just says, I approve your punishment. Don't worry about it. What they did is a mistake, and the punishment that you gave by cursing is perfect. So I approve of it. Just he told that to pacify them. And then he also goes on to actually glorify how the Brahmanas are the highest people. And he also seeks the forgiveness, because he says, these are my attendants, that means they are my servants, and whatever the mistakes that a servant commits, actually the master becomes implicated by that. The master also becomes responsible for those mistakes of his servants. So here Vishnu Chakravarti brings out how, if you see, he is saying they are my servants, they are mama, they are tava, so they are like, here they Jay and Vijay are considered as his own servants. So there is an aspect of ownership there. These are my people. So he is owning them up. He's to that extent, any mistakes that they commit, that also he is owning up. So he's taking full responsibility, and he also considers Jaya and Vijaya as his own people. And here the four Kumaras are actually watching that, or witnessing that, that how the Supreme Lord is considering Jaya and Vijaya as his own people, and then dealing with them very, very formally. And they also see how much the Lord loves his servants, that he is ready to ask for forgiveness on behalf of them and own up the mistakes that they have committed. Even if whether they are mistakes or not, that's another thing. Even if they had committed a mistake, he is ready to own up that mistake, because he actually loves them. So being impersonalist, or at least from an impersonalist background, this is the first time that the four Kumaras are getting to experience what is the mood of a devotee, what is the mood of the Supreme Lord, what it means to have a relationship with the Supreme Lord, because they have always thought Brahmananda is highest, or they, at least they preferred Brahmananda, and they thought it's a lot. But here they are actually experiencing Bhakti Ananda, what it means to be a servant of the Supreme Lord. How, by being a servant of the Supreme Lord actually takes responsibility, takes full ownership, owns that person, and that's much more of a security, and there is more happiness in that relationship. So the four Kumaras are getting to witness this aspect of life, which they have never thought is higher than their own experience of Brahmananda. So those who they have been experiencing Brahmananda for a long time, but here they experience the Bhakti Ananda, basically the the pleasure or the bliss of being a devotee and having a personal relationship with the Supreme Lord. So here in this verse, very, very clearly, the Supreme Lord says, these are my attendants, and whatever offense they have committed, it's my offense also. So, and then he says this, the servant's mistake causes master infamy. So I take full responsibility. He says, Yannamani chagrihnati loko bhritye kritagasi, so asadu vadas tatkritim hanti tvacham ivamayah. So he's saying that if a wrong act is committed by a servant, then that leads people to blame the master, just as a spot of white leprosy pollutes the whole body. So, if the servant of a master commits one small mistake, then that can actually pollute the name of the master. So, this is what he is telling to the four Kumaras. So he says, but how is it that the four Kumaras might ask, oh, how is it that we can cause you infamy? Because you are all famous, like you are Bhagavan who possesses six opulences. So one of the six opulence of the Supreme Lord is fame, unlimited fame. And for someone who is unlimitedly famous, who possesses all fame, how can individuals like us cause infamy to you? So if they are asking like this, then Vishnu Chakravarti writes how the Lord actually uses this question to glorify the Brahmanas. He says, that is how great you guys are. That is how great the Brahmanas are. Because my fame is because of you guys, because of because of worshipping the Brahmanas. He says, by hearing whose glories the whole world, including the low people of this world, they can be purified. But that Lord, I am by hearing my name, even lowest of the mankind can be purified. So in the Shrimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Srila Shukadeva Goswami quotes that verse, Abhira Shambhaya Vanakashadaya Necha Papaya Dapashraya Ashraya. So anyone who takes the shelter of the Supreme Lord and his devotees, they can get purified. So here, Lord Narayan says, by chanting my name, by hearing my glories, anyone, even the lowest of the people of this world can get purified. And that's why my name has become Tirtha. One of the names of the Lord is Tirtha. But I have obtained that name because of you, because of the Brahmanas, because I am dedicated to the Brahmanas. That is why I have become so powerful. So I'll not hesitate even to cut off my arm if it offends you. So even if my own personal limb of my body offends you, I will not hesitate to let it go. So that's how important you guys are to me. And then he also says, because of my service to devotees like you, that is the reason of the potency of my dust, because people consider my dust very potent. The dust of my feet immediately wipes out all sin of those people who come in contact with that. However, that power for the dust of my feet comes from my service to devotees like you. And he says, even Lakshmi does not leave me. So Lakshmi Devi is standing next to him and he is saying this. He's saying, Lakshmi Devi does not leave me, although I am not attached to her. It takes a lot of guts to tell this before your consort, that I'm not attached to her. And others perform vows to obtain all favor from her. And still, she does not leave me, even though I am not attached to her. And there are so many people desiring her. Still, she does not actually leave me. Why? Because I worship you guys. So, because of that, she is attached to me. And he also says how he enjoys, the Supreme Lord enjoys food through the mouth of Brahmanas. I do not relish the offerings through my mouth as the sacrificial fire with the same relish as I do the delicacies overflowing with ghee which are offered to the mouths of the Brahmanas. So he says, I eat happily through the mouths of Brahmanas than through the yagya. Yagyo vai Vishnu. In the Vedic literatures, it is said how Yagya represents Vishnu and Vishnu represents Yagya. So there it is mentioned how Vishnu, who represents Yagya, is the enjoyer of all the sacrifices. And here the same Lord Vishnu is saying, I enjoy food through the mouth of the Brahmanas, not better than the through the sacrificial fire. And again he says, if I take the dust of the Brahmanas on my head, who will refuse to do the same? If the Lord, I am taking the dust of the Brahmanas on my head, then who will refuse to do the same? And by taking their dust, I am the master of unobstructed internal energy. And the water that washed my feet sanctifies the three worlds, including Lord Shiva. So he says all this is because of the potency of the Brahmanas. People who displease me are those people who actually disrespect the Brahmanas, who disrespect cows, and who disrespect defenseless creatures. They actually go to hell and actually they displease me. But those who respect the Brahmanas actually please me. So, so in this way, he's glorifying until the verse 11. And in this verse 12, after appeasing them for so many verses in such high way, he's saying, you're so great. So I ask this one favor. Let my servants, even though they have committed a mistake, let my servants return to me very soon, because they, without knowing the mind of their master, they have committed an offense. So please forgive them. I don't want to counteract the curse of the Brahmanas because I respect them. but let my servants return to me very soon. So here again, the four Kumaras were very confused. Vishwanath Chakravarti writes that the Lord was not actually happy with the Kumara's act of cursing the doorkeepers. And all these statements from verse 6 until here, or even from the beginning, this is all actually a way of Vishnu Chakravarti is saying this. All these statements were tinged with sarcasm, because that's why he is even very confidently telling when Lakshmi is standing next to him that I am not attached to Lakshmi, because she understands his mood, why he is saying. So it seems like these verses are glorifying Brahmanas. Sometimes we can take this verses out of context and quote how the Supreme Lord enjoys the food through the mouth of the Brahmanas. It's true, but here in this context, Vishnu Chakravarti says all these verses were spoken with a little bit of a sarcasm. Actually, he was not happy with the four Kumaras offending, cursing the Jaya and Vijaya. And he also exhibited a deep attachment for Jaya and Vijaya. How? He's saying, let them return to me very soon. If you remember in the last chapter, also, when the four Kumaras actually cursed the Jaya and Vijaya, immediately the first reaction of Jaya and Vijaya was, okay, we understand you people are great, we did a mistake, but please let us not actually forget our Lord. Wherever we go, we are ready to go to the material world, but let us never forget our Lord. And here, that actually touched the hearts of the four Kumaras. And here the Supreme Lord is saying, let them come to me very soon. They may go through this, but let them come very soon. So in this way, he could see the attachment of the Supreme Lord to his devotees, and they could also see the dedication and devotion of his devotees to the Supreme Lord. So in this way, the heart of the four Kumaras is being touched. So having heard all this statement, the four Kumaras were a little confused, because they are thinking, it seems like all these glorifications of the Brahmanas by the Supreme Lord seems to be a little exaggerated. It seems like it's too far stretched. He is the Supreme Lord. How is he getting his potency, his abilities from Brahmanas? It doesn't seem very right. So they are a little bit confused of what the Supreme Lord said. So Kumaras were not fully satisfied, because they were actually because they became angry. They were a little bit agitated by that anger. Still, they were not fully satisfied with the words of the Supreme Lord. And Kumaras could not comprehend the Lord's excellent speech also, because their minds were agitated with anger. And in one sense, they committed offense against devotees like Jaya and Vijaya. They could not fully comprehend what's going on in the mind of the Supreme Lord. They thought, okay, the Lord is saying all these things, but we don't really understand, is he really speaking truth, or is he being sarcastic? What's happening here? They could not actually fully fathom what is going on. And the Kumaras were nevertheless delighted, because even though they were confused, they were also highly delighted hearing the Supreme Lord, and their hairs were standing on end. So here, Vishnu Chakravarti writes how, wondering for a long time, they were confused, and yet they were experiencing, because they were personally in the presence of the Supreme Lord. So Kumara's reply to the Lord, to Lord Narayan, is the next section that we are seeing. So far, what we saw is the Supreme Lord Narayan is speaking to the four Kumaras, basically pacifying them, because the four Kumaras are his guests. So he's trying to be cordial with him. He is not directly chastising them, even though he does not fully approve of what they did. Still, because they are his guest, out of etiquette, he is not reprimanding them directly. So indirectly, in a little bit of a sarcastic way, he indicated to them that what they did was not right. At the same time, he also glorified them. So they were very confused. Is he glorifying us, or is he chastising us? We don't understand. But still, because the Supreme Lord's speech was so attractive, they were actually experiencing some kind of a ecstasy. They were getting delighted, even though they were feeling confused. And then they actually express their state of mind to the Supreme Lord very honestly. So in the verse 16, they're saying, "Oh, our Lord, we really appreciate what you spoke to us, the sentiment, but we are unable to know your intentions. We just not able to understand the intentions of what you're saying. So, and he says, to set an example for others, you are respecting Brahmanas. It is not that the Brahmanas are higher than you, just to establish some kind of a etiquette, you are actually respecting the Brahmanas. So, we really want to uh, we really want to understand what's going on here. So they say you are the worshipable deity, not only to the demigods but also to the Brahmanas. So, what is the meaning of you saying that without service to Brahmanas, your food dust has no power? How can you say that? Because it's not that your dust of your lotus feet has any power because of the Brahmanas. You are the worshipable Lord of the Brahmanas. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah. So it is he is Brahmanya Devaya. He is the Lord of the Brahmanas. It's not the other way. So this is what the Kumaras are explaining, and then they are also saying how you always protect the eternal dharma. So you are the supreme objective of dharma, and you are eternally unchangeable. You have so many multi manifestations, and with all these qualities, you are the Lord. How can how can actually we be the ones who are worshipped by you? It's not that case. And they also say, by your mercy alone, even detached yogis cross nations. They may be yogis, they may be jnanis, they may be dedicated to, not to the personal form of the Supreme Lord. Still, they can cross the nations only by your mercy. So, how can you say that you require the mercy of others? How is it possible? And he says, Lakshmi desires a place at your lotus feet. It's not that she desires a place at the lotus feet because it is serving the Brahmanas. We don't think so. Lakshmi naturally has an attraction for your lotus feet because you said that Lakshmi does not give up you because you have served the Brahmanas. But that is not possible because she is eternally existing by your side. So they say you are not attached to Lakshmi because just she is your wife. You are not attached to her just because she is your wife. The same statement comes in the Canto 1 chapter where we speak about the queens of Dwarka also. So the Supreme Lord is not attracted to the queens of Dwarka because they are very beautiful. No, the Lord is attached or attracted to the queens of Dwarka or to Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, because of their activities as pure devotees, because of their devotional service, not because they are beautiful. So he says, how can you be purified by the dust of the path traversed by Brahmanas? Yam vai vibhuti virupayati anuvela manyer artati bisvashirasa andritapadarenu dhanna dhanyarpitangri tulasi navadamadhamno lokam madhuvratapate reva kamayana. So Lakshmi is desiring your lotus feet, not because you serve us, because she is eternally your servant. So Lakshmi, whose dust feet is worn by the head by people desiring wealth, desires for a place in the abode of the king of bees, hovering on the tulsi offered at your lotus feet. So they clearly conclude no one can be the benefactor of the Supreme Lord. He is the supreme benefactor of all living entities or all existence, including Lakshmi Devi. So rather, everyone is his servant. He is not the servant of, even though he says that, oh, I am a servant of the Brahmanas, he is not the servant. He is the eternal master of everyone. So, in this way, they are glorifying Lord Narayan. And they also say how he is the protector of the Brahmanas. So kindly destroy the Rajas and Tamas by Sattva to benefit the Brahmanas and the demigods. So now they are offering request to Lord Narayan. Please remove this Rajagun and Tamagun and benefit the Brahmanas and demigods because you are the protector of Brahmanas. So if you do not protect the Brahmanas by offering worship and mild words, then people in general may not understand the importance of being respectful to Brahmanas. Just to set an example, just to teach people in general and to set an example, you are actually behaving very cordial and respectful to the Brahmanas. And your potency is not reduced by your submissive behavior. He says, just because you are being submissive, or you are being controlled by your devotees, or you are being respectful to the brahmanas, that submissive behavior does not reduce your potency. Rather, it actually glorifies the character of the Supreme Lord. Even in this world, if a very powerful person behaves very humbly with an unknown person, then it becomes a viral news, that see how great this person is. That even though he is so wealthy or so famous or so influential, he behaves very humbly with normal people. On the other hand, if a very wealthy, influential, or famous, beautiful, handsome people, if they misbehave with other people, then that causes them downfall. It actually raises doubts in their character. So here the Supreme Lord, being very submissive to his devotees or to brahmanas, it does not reduce his potency. Rather, it increases the pastimes, the sweetness of the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. It leads to the glorification of the character of the Supreme Lord. So, and then here is a very, very crucial verse that the four Kumaras are speaking. This verse can shed a lot of light on this pastime. This is the own words of the four Kumaras after hearing what the two gatekeepers, Jay and Vijay, have to say after they got cursed, and also after hearing the Lord Narayan, who has come out of his abode to meet them on the gates of Vaikunta. So, having known that his servants are cursed, how is he dealing with the four Kumaras and with with Jaya and Vijaya? Seeing all of this, here is a statement that the four Kumaras are saying. They're saying, actually, we understand that we have cursed two faultless persons. We accept without duplicity whatever punishment or reward you ordain on these people or also upon us. We think we committed a mistake by cursing them. So now we are completely open. You want to nullify the curse, we are okay. If you want to punish them or reward them, and also us, if you want to punish us, we are open to it because we understand that we did a mistake. So they have come a whole circle by being angry and by feeling justified in cursing the two gatekeepers. They have come to a place where they clearly state, they saying it, I think we may be wrong. No, it's not they're saying they're not doubtful, they're clearly saying we committed a mistake. Simple, they're accepting we committed a mistake by cursing these two faultless persons. We are open to any punishment that you would like to give to us, or if you want to remove the curse, that is also fine with us. You want to nullify the curse, we are okay with that. And or if you want us to be punished for misbehaving with your servants, we are okay with that too. So in this way, they are expressing their heart. So now the Lord, having heard the four Kumaras and their reply to his statements, now the Supreme Lord is going to speak and kind of settle the whole matter. He's going to reconcile. He's the supreme reconciling factor in everyone's life, especially for devotees. When there is a lot of conflict among devotees, by coming together in order to cooperate in the service of the Lord, that can be mitigated, that can be reduced, that can be resolved. So that's why Srila Prabhupada always said, okay, cooperate in my service, because that is the biggest austerity in Kali Yuga. Because Kali Yuga is an age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Kali Yuga works very, very interestingly. Alone, we don't have any strength. So only in the association of devotees we gain more strength in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, Sange Shakti Kala Yuga. So in the association, there is more strength in the age of Kali because individually people are not very strong. But the main weapon that Kali uses in the association of devotees is when they come together, it creates quarrel. And because they are quarreling, they don't come together and they stay separate. And when they stay separate, Maya attacks and they become hypocritical. So they cannot maintain the standards, they cannot practice bhakti sincerely, and they may actually they may get into the trap of hypocrisy. So in this way, the age of Kali does not allow devotees to come together or any in general, because as soon as people are together, then there is quarrel, and they will go away because they are quarreling. And when they are alone, then Maya attacks them and makes them hypocritical. So here also, so the Supreme Lord is that's why the Supreme Lord is the great reconciling factor. That's why Srila Prabhupada said, cooperate in my service, because by staying together, they can overcome the influence of Maya. And when they stay together, if there is a quarrel, if they if they kind of reconcile it based on the service of the Supreme Lord, if they cooperate for the service of the Supreme Lord, then they can actually win over the influences of the external energy and avoid the pitfall of falling into hypocrisy. So that is why Srila Prabhupada mentioned that statement many times. And here, that the Supreme Lord is the highest reconciling factor in everyone's life, especially devotees. And here we see the Supreme Lord is reconciling the situation, that he says, their punishment was actually ordained by me, but they will shortly return to me, as they will be absorbed in meditation on me in anger, in the Virya Rasa. In they will be having anger and they'll be fighting with me, giving me Virya Rasa. So here he flips the plate completely. He says, this punishment was ordained by me. So don't think, for Kumaras, you have cursed by your own strength, or don't even dare to think that you have the ability to curse my personal attendance. You think you're so powerful that you can curse my attendance, you can curse the associates of the Supreme Lord, you can curse the residents of Vaikunta? Is it possible that visitors come from outside, they are not even qualified to enter Vaikunta, and those, even though they are sages, they can actually curse the two attendants of the Supreme Lord? Do you think it's possible? Don't think this curse is going to take effect because of your strength. Don't dare even think that you can actually curse my associates. If I want, I can completely nullify this, but I don't want to do it, because I'm also going to get something achieved through this. So this curse is not taking effect on them because of your potency. It is taking effect because of my ordaining it. I am allowing it to take effect because I am going to achieve something through that. Don't think it is your curse which is obliging them to take birth. It's me who is ordaining to take them birth in the material world. But still, they will shortly return to me because they will be absorbed. So Jiva Goswami says, even though they will be actually taking birth, they are completely, their body is only externally different, but internally they were always in the mood of service. So nothing can happen without the Lord's sanction. So the Lord's plan was behind this curse. Because the Lord is the source of everything, anger and fighting spirit was also existing in him. But in Vaikuntha, the Lord has no enemies to fight with because everyone is engaged in his service. So the Lord comes to the material world along with his devotees, in this case Jaya and Vijaya, who temporarily act as his enemies to fulfill his need for engaging in fights, Virya Rasa. And also, there is another important thing that the Lord achieves through this, not just his own enjoyment of Virya Rasa. The very important aspect that he achieves through this pastime is, while fulfilling his own desires, the Lord also instructs the sadhakas, the practicing devotees in this world, through this episode, to be careful not to commit offenses. Because here he's teaching how the offenses can affect one's spiritual life. So, after hearing all of these things, the Kumaras feel a little pacified, and they depart having seen the Supreme Lord, the object of bliss for their eyes. And taking his permission, they actually departed. And if you see, they did not enter Vaikuntha. They actually leave from the gates of Vaikuntha. They are not entering Vaikuntha. So, and then the Lord speaks to Jaya and Vijaya how, don't worry, don't fear, please go to the material world, but you will always be protected. And you will come back to me very soon because you will always be absorbed in the thoughts of me in anger. And he also says that this departure was foretold by Lakshmi. So he is appeasing Lakshmi also now. He's putting a tick on all parties. He satisfied four Kumaras. He gave them devotional inclination. He made them into bhakti yogis. He made their curse externally come true, and he satisfied his own desire to fight. And the two gatekeepers were also actually agreeing to offer that service. And they also had a run in with Lakshmi Devi, and he's satisfying her also. That Lakshmi Devi was very angry when you stopped her from entering the gate when Lord was sleeping. So I'm just satisfying all these parties here. And he says, by meditating on me in anger, you will overcome the offense that you committed to the Brahmanas and return to me very shortly. So after the speaking at the door of Vaikuntha, the Lord returned to his abode, and the four Kumaras also left from there. So they did not even enter Vaikuntha. So after explaining all of these things, Lord Brahma actually concludes the narration. What is the time? Okay. Lord Brahma concludes the narration. He says how Jaya and Vijaya actually lost their luster due to Brahma Shapa and fell from Vaikuntha. Being actually ordained by the Lord, the curse takes effect. Otherwise, generally speaking, a curse of anybody like the four Kumaras cannot take effect in Vaikuntha. It's not possible because the Lord allowed it. It's taking place. It's taking effect here. And as they were falling, a great roar of disappointment arose from all the demigods because the demigods knew it's going to be tough for them. And they entered the womb of Diti through the semen of Kashyapa Muni. And here Brahmaji gives an amazing piece of advice to the demigods. Here he is the first living being of this universe. He is the leader of all the demigods. They have gone to him. Still, he is saying, see, it is the prowess of these twin asuras who are in the womb of Kashyapa Muni's wife Diti that is causing this disturbance all over this universe. And believe me, there is no remedy within my power. However, it is the Lord Himself who desires to do all this. He says, sorry guys, I can't do anything. I know what is the cause of your problem, but I don't have a remedy for your problem. So this is the case of Brahmaji, and this is happening to the demigods. So and here Brahmaji is not being like artificially saying, yeah, I can just handle this. No, he's just clearly saying, see, I know the cause of your problem, but I don't have any remedy for your problem. But the Lord is the one who can actually resolve this, and everything, all of these things are happening because of His desire. So He alone will be able to rescue us. So, and He glorifies the Supreme Lord that the Supreme Lord is the controller of the three modes. He is the responsible for creation, preservation, and dissolution of the universe. He is the most ancient person, and his Yoga Maya cannot be easily understood by the masters of yoga. So, what is the use of deliberating on this? So, Brahmaji is trying to convince them. The demigods may be saying, oh, Brahmaji, how can you say that you can't do anything? You are the controller of this universe, you are the master of this universe. He says, no, no. The controller of the universe, the controller of the three modes, is actually the Supreme Lord Vishnu. He is actually responsible for creation, preservation, and dissolution. Don't think it's all done by I am creating or Lord Shiva is destroying. Nothing. No. He is responsible for all these things. And he is the most ancient person. You may consider me as the first living entity in this material universe, but he is the most ancient person. Adi Purusham. Govindam Adi Purusham. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. Anadi means the most ancient person. So his yoga maya cannot be easily understood by the masters of yoga. I may be doing yoga, but he is the Yogeshwar. We cannot understand completely why he is doing what he is doing. So what is the use of deliberating on this? It's for some time you have to go through this. So just turn to the Supreme Lord, take his shelter. He only can come to your rescue. I can't do anything at this point of time. So in this way, he answers the demigods. And then let's see what happens in the next chapter, which is the which describes the fight between Hiranyaksha and Varahadev that will come in the next chapter. So they haven't taken birth yet. So in the next chapter, they will take birth and they will also grow up and they will also fight with Varahadev, and they will also Hiranyaksha also will be killed in the next chapter, next few chapters, 17 to 19. So let's catch up those chapters next week. So thank you all very much. Sorry for the delay in starting the class, but I'm glad I completed on time. So thank you very much for sharing. If there are any questions, we can take at this point of time. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hi, Krishna.
Uh, is somebody else asking a question, or is it just me?
No, you can go ahead. I didn't see anyone raising a hand or anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, can I go all the way back to when you were saying that right in front of Lakshmi, Narayan said, I'm not attached to her,
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I just don't get his having said that in front of her or at all.
Hmm?
Can you repeat the explanation for how he could have said that?
Oh, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says the whole set of these statements from verse 6 to 11, they are very sarcastic.
Yeah, but sarcastic. I mean, but still, he said that. I don't know. I don't understand. Even the saying is sarcastically in front of her. It just sounds too much. I don't know.
She understands the heart of the Supreme Lord, so she understands why he is saying what he is saying.
Okay, but uh,
Yeah, I can understand. You are not able to digest it. I'll tell
no, I'm not
Purvi.
able to digest. I I need some Pepto Bismol or something because this one is really rough. Really, really rough. Saying I'm not attached to her.
It's
But
more of
anyway,
a
even
joke. He's kind of like they both have an understanding what he is saying. It's more of a they're having fun on four Kumaras actually in one sense. You see all these statements when you see in a sarcastic tone, all these 4 or 5 verses, approximately 6 verses, they're actually they're just actually having fun on them. It's actually taking them for a trip.
okay, okay. Well, let's say that I'm rolling with it. I'm rolling with it. But what was his point in saying that? I mean, even sarcastically, what was he trying to?
Oh, what they were, because they thought themselves like very high brahmanas. They thought like, how can Jay and Vijaya stop us? We are like sages, we are brahmanas. That's why he's hitting on them like, you think everything, I am powerful because of you guys or something like that, but these are my servants. You may be brahmanas, you may be very highly qualified, but that doesn't mean you have to behave like that with my attendants, because they are my attendants. I'm the Supreme Lord, they are directly my servants. So he's kind of giving them a more value or more plan, a position, higher position than just being a brahmana. Does it answer your
Uh,
question?
yeah. I yeah. I. But how about the Lakshmi thing? How does that work?
No, he's just making a point. Do you think the potency of my dust, means he says the potency for the dust of my feet comes from service to the brahmanas, and she is even attached to me because of you guys, which is all not true.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But okay. So how about this? The potency of for the dust of my feet comes due to service to brahmanas. What does his feet have to do with service to the brahmanas? I know I'm being very literal, but still I need to ask.
No, the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord is considered very purifying. That's why he is even
Yeah.
called Tirtha Pada. Means Tirtha is a place which purifies when you visit the place. But his lotus feet are considered Tirtha, place of pilgrimage, because just by coming in touch with the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the dust, what to speak of the lotus feet, even the dust from the feet of the Lord actually purifies a person.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
how great that person must be, and how great his servants must be. So here he is making a point. You guys are taking my servants so easily. Even the dust of my feet has has a potency to purify. But do you think that potency comes from? And then he is just turning it around them. Oh, that potency actually comes from service to you guys.
Mhm. Mhm.
You can see the sarcasm there in that mood.
Mhm. Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
even Lakshmi
So.
is attached to me because of you guys, because of I serve you guys.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's a kind of a, that's why Vishnu Chakravarti clarifies these are verses in with a mood of sarcasm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I feel slightly better.
Hare Krishna. Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Babu. Thank you.
Prabhu,
Please.
Prabhu, I was thinking
Can I
here
unshare
the
this? Then I can see you guys. Oh, okay. Yeah, please tell me.
fireball.
Yes.
Prabhu, so I was thinking, why are these verses
Mm-hmm.
uh, directed towards the Kumaras, or
Which
are they?
verses?
I mean, this set of 6 to 12.
Because he's speaking to them actually.
He's he's glorifying them, or he's mocking them.
He is little bit mocking them. That's what Vishnu Chakravarti writes. Because the Lord was also was not fully happy with their act of cursing the doorkeepers. So, and he writes the above statements were tinged with sarcasm and a deep attachment towards Jaya and Vijaya.
So then, why is he telling that at the end, please come to me? To whom is he saying? Very soon.
Oh, that is
That's to,
to the two gatekeepers. He's saying,
so he's changing to
let
Jai
them come
Vijay.
back soon to me. Your curse may take effect, but let them come back to me soon.
Oh, okay. So it's okay. He's changing the narrative there.
Yeah.
And what did Brahma exactly say? Did he take the responsibility of the Kumaras at the end?
No,
That
no, no.
because
He's
of.
not taking any responsibility of the Kumaras. He is just saying that nobody can do anything to resolve the situation that you guys are facing. Because why all this discussion is going on? The demigods have trouble, so they go to Brahmaji saying, "Oh, please help us. There is so much trouble in the universe. Why is this happening?" So he's explaining, "Oh, because of the two demons in the womb of Diti, all this is happening."
Mhm.
And now he is saying, you can't do anything, you have to go through this because the Lord has ordained it,
Okay,
and
okay,
only he can actually help you, so better pray to him to appear to help you. I can do anything, he is saying
okay,
basically.
okay.
This also
Okay.
becomes like, hey, it is your sons who caused all this trouble.
Yes, I was thinking like this.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
of you, we are having
these
this
are
problem.
the whole trouble is because of your two sons. But that's why he also mentioned that how it's ordained by the Lord. Also, there are more reasons than just the four Kumaras.
Okay. And where do I find this one that 3 versus 7? 7 lifetimes as devotees, 3 lifetimes as Asura. Is it there
I
in
don't see
Bhagavatam?
directly
No.
in Bhagavatam, Prabhu. I don't know where that come from. I've heard it many times.
But not in Bhagavatam, right?
I have not seen it in the Bhagavatam exactly.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. If there are no more questions, I can I can take your leave. Uh,
Hare Krishna Karshna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Just,
Madhukina.
just saying thank you so much. Such a wonderful class and wonderful storytelling. It was really engaging. So thank you so much. Haribol.
Okay. Thank you all. If there are no questions, we can end the session here. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jai
Krishna,
Srimad
Prabhu.
Bhagavatam ki
Thank
jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.